Hello everyone, this is cybereagle2001 and today we are going to understand how can we be anonymous online. We all know that everything we do on internet or any other intelligent device is tracked. Google services, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, TikTok, and any website that we visit is collecting data and storing some private information, starting from our location, our online activities, our browsing history, and it can go to collect our cookies, which contains our passwords, our personal information, and even our IP and MAC address. And for some applications, they even take control of your smartphone or your computer. So, how can we at least be secure when we are surfing internet with our computers? Being 100% anonymous is quite impossible, but we can do our best to minimize the quantity of data they are collecting. The first level and the easiest way for trying to be anonymous is the usage of a VPN. A virtual private network is the most known way to change our IP address, but actually all what it does is it creates an encrypted tunnel that will allow us to enter a public internet in a secure way, and it's all based on cryptography. So what if we are searching to get better level of privacies? The most used search engines is Google. It collects a lot of data and it doesn't do a good job when it comes to filter results. So let's discover a new one. First, we'll open our browser. So I truly enjoy using DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is a search engine that it filters results of your search by denying websites using tracking and sniffing APIs that are collecting your data. Also, DuckDuckGo disables JavaScript. For those who already have an experience with web development, they know that websites are created are built using markup languages and programming languages. Markup languages like for example, HTML, CSS, and they are used in the front end. The majority of websites use PHP for the back end, but also uses JavaScript. What is dangerous in JavaScript is this one works on the client side and not on the server side. The client side means that it runs directly on your browser, on your local machine. And actually, JavaScript is used to run scripts and also to add some fancy effects to your design. But we can use it for some malicious codes. Here, DuckDuckGo will help us to avoid using those type of websites that are collecting data using APIs and also use JavaScript and disable JavaScript. So this is the interface of DuckDuckGo. It says started of being tracked online. We can help. Actually, it does a good job. Here we have some web direct links for some websites. Here we have our settings and it's full of privacy. Let's search for something like VPN related to our topic. And your data shouldn't be for sale. At DuckDuckGo we agree, so it's blocking advertising trackers, keep your search history private, and take control of your personal data. So here we have some results. It will take some time because of my network speed, sorry. But actually DuckDuckGo I think is created in 2000, I think, and recently it's being quite known, and especially we find DuckDuckGo on Parrot OS, but as a default search engine. We will find it also in Tails. I will speak about Tails lately. So we will have more privacy using DuckDuckGo, and we'll be able to be more secure when visiting websites that we found using DuckDuckGo. The next level of privacy that we can speak about is the proxy chain usage. The usage of proxy chains actually is quite easy. Let's understand how it works. Proxy chains are a number of proxies that we will use in order to make our IP address less obvious. Proxy chains, we will find it by default in PowerOS and Kali Linux, and Linux fan. Actually, it's my daily main operating system. Linux is known to be an open source operating system and the more secure than Windows and Mac, and some people call it also malware-free operating system. But what we will do now is we are going to open our terminal, and we are going to edit the proxy chains config file. So the first thing we are going to do is to have a privilege escalation with sudo. I prefer using Vim. If you wanna use any other editor like Nano or any other LibreOffice also, but actually I like using Vim. So this is our configuration file. So by default it's set on strict chain, so we are going to disable this one, enable the dynamic chains, and we are going to edit the last part of the file by adding a new proxies. So to do that, we are going to use a website, spice1, and here you will find the last generations of proxies, the SOX5 proxies. What I like in this website that it will allow us to see also the speed of the proxy. Why I'm speaking about speed? Because one of the bad things when you are using proxy chains is because it can make our network and internet connection slower, so that it will. I really advise you to use proxies with high speed. So for example, we are going to use this one, which is in Netherlands. So this will be our copy, and we are going to add it here. This is our first proxy. Let's search, for example, this one from Germany. And when you add more proxies, the more proxies you have, the more security and privacy you get. So let's see this one. I think 3 proxies, this is good. But how can we use the proxy chains technique? To do that, we need to type proxy chains and then use the application. For example, I will use Firefox, and that's it. Now I'm surfing the network using proxy chains, and this is I think we can say it's advanced, but doesn't really do an amazing job when it comes to security. So the next step, if we are searching for better security and privacy, then we will be talking about another browser. We will not speak about Opera, Google Chrome, Mozilla, or Safari. No, we are going to think about an amazing browser, which is Tor Browser. Actually, Tor Browser is widely known as the dark web browser, and when people are speaking about dark web, they are thinking about drugs, mafia, gangs, and so much more illegal stuff. But actually, the dark web is the part of the web that not everyone can access. And in general, I think we are not even surfing 20% of the network using Google. But why we are using Tor browser to get into the dark web? So hackers, activists, and politicians, maybe some drug dealers and mafia organizations are using Tor browser because it's really secure. Tor browser uses DuckDuckGo as the main browsing engine. Also, it uses the onion technique, to make your connections more anonymous. Actually, in onion network messages are really encrypted using different layers as shown here. So let's search for onion routing diagram. And on the other side, we are going to start Tor browser. So this is Tor browser. We are going to run, and here we go. So this is how we can see that in the middle we have the message, we have the router C key, the router B key, and the router A key. Actually, it is also asymmetric encryptions, and it's quite good actually to help us be secure and private and make our connection so private. And now it's establishing a connection to the Tor network, which is highly secure. And we all know that the first episode of Mr. Robot Elliot, actually, when he visited Ron on the coffee, he was speaking about a vulnerability in the Tor browser, but that one is no longer exists, and we don't have this problem nowadays. So it takes some time because actually it's doing so much. It's the safest mode. I'm running the safest mode of Tor browser, and here if it will ask us, for example, to clear all the history, all the tabs, and also the connections. So it will connect automatically to the network. What is interesting when it comes to a browser is the way it works. Because actually, what is interesting is that Tor browser will change our IP address via different servers and proxies, which will allow us to surf the internet. And even if we are tracked, our location is not the same. For example, I'm located in Tunisia, and when Tor browser will run, you will see that I'm connecting from Germany or US or Russia, Australia. So actually it will not give the tracker a good location. If also he will use a trace, which is a good, actually it's a good software. We will have a video speaking how we can trace and locate people via their IP address. So this is the main browser of the main page of Tor browser. So Tor browser has been updated. This is the 10.5.5 version, and we can see that it's used DuckDuckGo. Let's search for something that's the easiest way, the easiest thing we can search is just doing test, so we are searching for test. It will take some time to run. So we are being redirected to non-JavaScript websites, and you can see that we have some websites, and we can see here the circuit we are using. So this is our browser, this is France, Austria, Germany, and then DuckDuckGo. So I'm using this IP address now. Actually, this is my new IP address that the websites will use. It's from Germany, and click to copy here. So this is, and you can create a new circuit if you don't like this one, for example. And this is quite good because the Onion engine, which is Tor Browser, is quite good and open source, so it's free to use and will give us a really high quality of privacy, and it's quite anonymous. And also sometimes we have some websites that we can't access from your country, for example, because of some problems, and you can just use Tor Browser to connect to that website and get the content for free, for example. That's what I like in Tor Browser. But what if we need another level of privacy? And what if we wanna be so anonymous that we can say that we are 100% anonymous? Actually, to do that, all what we are going to do is to change our IP address and MAC address. So what is an IP address and what is a MAC address? An IP address is quite like our nickname. It changes depending on the network we are connecting in. So basically, when computers are communicating with each other, they are communicating with their IP addresses as their names. So the IP address will change from network to network and from private network to the public network. That's why I call it the nickname of the machine. But the MAC address is the address or the name that the factory gives to the computer or the smartphone when it's created, and we can say it's quite permanent. And when we are tracked, our IP address is tracked, and sometimes our MAC address is tracked. So to be secure and to have an amazing level of privacy and to be really secure, we need to modify our IP address and our MAC address. And this is actually what hackers do before trying a pen test or trying to hack something. And let's see, for example, I'm using Kali Linux, so the command to see my network interfaces is ifconfig, and for Windows is ipconfig. So here I have only one, which is I have the low, and actually I have the wireless interface. So this is my IP address on the private network, and actually this is the broadcast. We can see, for example, this is the MAC address. So if someone will trace me, they will have this address. And if I have this IP address, then actually they will find me. And I don't want them to find me. So one of the easiest way to change the IP address is to use the ifconfig to specify specify the interface, which is the wireless interface here, and you will give yourself just, sorry, I should verify something. So it's the VLAN 0. It should be similar to this one so that I can still connect it. And I will change, for example, the 95.1 to 112, for example. And if I will click enter, I will change my IP address to this one. And it's quite easy. So sorry, I needed a root access, sudo. And now if we are going to do ifconfig, This is my new IP address. This is a way to use a static IP address. But if we don't want to have a static IP address and you want to change this whole IP address like we did using Tor Browser, so to do that, there is an amazing tool that is pre-installed on Parrot OS, I think also on Tails, and you can install it on any Linux machine, which is the anonsurf. The anonsurf, I need help. It's the help of the tool. You can install it from GitHub. You will find the link in the description. So these are all the commands we can do. So we can change our identity on Tor. We can see the status. We can restart and stop and start again. We can see the new IP address. So for example, let's start it. And I think we need the root access. So it's starting. It will use actually Tor. Yes, it's using Tor and private internet access DNS. So now, for example, if we are going to use anonsurf and status, it's active. So my IP so also we have the ability to start an IP2 service. It will add more security. It could resolve the host because actually it's a dynamic one. So now we can say that we are private and we are running anonsurf. But do you think that if we have just changed our IP address, is it so secure? For sure, no. We need also to change the MAC address, and to do that, so we are. Well, I will use another command which IP adds. So this is our MAC. This is our MAC address. So we are going to change this one, and to do that, all what you are going to do is to use a new tool, name it macchanger. You will find the link in the description or the commands how to install it. Actually, macchanger is by default in Kali Linux and on Parrot OS. So the first thing we are going to do is to see mac example changer. Actually it's Mac, sorry. Macchanger. And this is the help command. So we need to, for example, let's see macchanger -s to be than 0. This is our permanent and current MAC address. So what we are going to do is to take down our wireless interface. We are no longer connected to internet. So let's use random MAC address. It should be running as root, and this is our new MAC address. So if we'll use WLN0 app and use macchanger -s WLN0, then our new MAC address is this one, and this one will stay active until we are going to reboot our machine, because if we will reboot our machine, then it will restore its original MAC address, which is this one. But it's quite good because if we are going to do pen tests or any hacking activities and you have already changed our IP address using anonsurf and changed the MAC address using macchanger, even if we are going to be tracked, then this is the MAC address they will get, and they will get any IP from the Tor network, and this will be quite anonymous and private and secure, and it will allow us to be so comfortable doing our hacking stuff. But we should also believe that nothing is 100% secure, and the best hackers in the world one day have been stopped and got arrested by different agencies, FBI, NSA, even some cybersecurity companies. So I don't encourage you to do illegal hacking. You should do cybersecurity, be an ethical hacker, and stay safe and away from problems. So these methods I used here, using the anonsurf and using the machangers, are quite good. But actually also we can use something like Tails. Tails is another level and high level of security. Tails is actually a full operating system designed for hackers and for those who are searching for zero trace on network, on your hardware, and it's like you have never used internet on that device, and it's quite and high secure. But also Tails use only live version. It's called also the hackers OS. It's widely used by hacktivists and journalists, also politicians, for drug dealers, for some deals, because actually it uses only Tor technology and Tor softwares like Tor emailing, Tor file sharing, Tor image uploader. So everything is secure when it comes to Tails. This is highly recommended for those who want to really be 100%, we can say 100% anonymous. It's always a live version. You will use a compatible, like all what you need is 32 gigabyte USB stick, and you will install your Tails in here. You can use it on any computer or any smartphone if you have a USB-C adapter, and it's quite good actually. Tails is so secure and private and anonymous, but it's quite hard to use, and I don't feel comfortable when I use Tails. I think it's quite hard to understand. So actually Tails is a portable operating system, as I said before. It's not something that we can install on our main hardware because it's not that practical, and it's against surveillance and censorship, avoid surveillance, censorship, advertising, and viruses. Tails is another full high level of security and privacy. Maybe we will have a full video speaking about Tails and maybe using it soon. So I hope that you enjoyed our video. I hope that you enjoyed all this information about how we can be secure, all those different levels of privacy and security. And I hope you will like this video, share it with your friends. Maybe soon we will have a video or we'll speak about phishing attacks using Set Toolkit, and we will have a video how we can install Tails and how we can use it. See you soon.